Having arrived via Perth, we flew north to the Ningaloo Reef in the Cape Range National Park. Here we stayed at the South Sails tented camp. It's 4-star luxury under canvas. Literally a stone's throw from this perfect beach, we are about 40 miles from the nearest inhabitants. And you only have to wade in waist deep to see brightly coloured fish and corals on the Ningaloo Reef. If you leave anything of interest outside your tent, these cheeky kangaroo will come and nick it. I bet she's looking forward to the day her Joey leaves home. We went hiking in the Mandu Gorge, led by this rather charming guide. After a few leisurely days on the beach, we set off to Carnarvon on this long and lonely road, crossing the Tropic of Capricorn at 23 degrees south. Carnarvon is a tranquil spot on a tidal inlet that's very popular with yachties. We're now heading off on the Mia Peninsula, past this shell beach that really lives up to its name. There is not one stone or single grain of sand, just shells and more shells. Monkey Mere is famed for its friendly dolphins, and they came to visit the moment we arrived. In the background you can see a snake bird. He's actually very much like a cormorant, it's just he swims a little lower in the water, so you only see his neck. First thing in the morning, and again late afternoon, these dolphins come for a free feed.
Many years ago, from the 60s, and in December of 1976.
The rangers are very careful not to let the dolphins get too used to human contact, so they maintain their wild status.
But yeah, sometimes the younger ones, I know Flute for a few months was sort of addicted to blowfish, throwing them around everywhere. Hello, would you like to come for a wander?
Apparently there is a large local population of dolphins, but only about a dozen individuals regularly come to these feeding stations. Rangers can identify regular visitors by the notches and scars on their dorsal fin. This pelican hangs about in the hope of snatching a free meal. Travelling further south, we come to Kalbarri National Park, where we climb up these impossible rocks to see nature's window. We overnight at Savants, that's in the Nambunk National Park. Next day we visit the Pinnacles. This strange area of rock formations is home to 1 million buzzing flies. This rather fetching beekeeper's outfit stops the flies going in your mouth and up your nose. This area was sheep rearing country, and they used to transport the wool on these vast wagons pulled by a team of oxen. I can't remember the name of these strange plants, but the cone-shaped flowers are about 18 inches tall. This bush is being carefully trimmed by a local gardener. We detoured miles off our route because the book told us there was a tree growing out of a rock. And sure enough, when we got there was a tree growing out of a rock. This rock arch doesn't look very stable. I don't think I'd like to walk across it. This replica of the Amity is at Albany, where they're very proud of their maritime history. Apparently this old ship brought the original settlers to farm this area, arriving on Christmas Day 1826. Although the Amity will never go to sea, she has a full crew of sea cadets. These crafty pelicans turn up here at the same time every afternoon because this local fisherman throws all his waste when he's cleaned his catch for them. A peculiar bird is the pelican. Its beak can hold more than his belly can. He swoops and he dives and he eats fish alive, and I really don't see how the hell he can. We disturbed this parakeet party when we stopped on the roadside. We had a lakeside room at the Caravali Resort near Pemberton, where we could watch the bird life right off our balcony. This rather handsome fella looked like an outside coot with a red face. I assume that the kookaburra is not afraid of snakes. These emu look quite friendly, although I'm glad to stay outside the fence. The reason Chris looks so excited is she's just found an old steam train to look at. Unfortunately, this steam train's not running today, but we can climb aboard the tram car for a tour of the forest.
The white carry. Now you'll notice the sprinklers on top and they're not running at the moment, and that's because we've had some reasonable amounts of rain. Now that would normally keep the wood damp and stop it from drying out too quickly and splitting. The less splits.
This track was originally built to haul logs out of the forest.
Now as we go through the first of the large cuttings that we will be going through. Remember 90 years ago, the people who dug this were armed only with pick slaves. We had three native, or three introduced species. That's the rainbow trout and the brown trout. They were introduced regularly to sport as the mariner, like the freshwater crayfish. Nothing to do with
I hope the legs on this trestle bridge are in better condition than some of the platforms. Deep in the forest we see this burnt tree that was allegedly struck by lightning over 100 years ago. Back on the train we have a driver's assistant to sound the hooter. We have to stop at the main road to close the level crossing gates. Arriving at Cape Lodge near Margaret's River, we're spotted by the reception committee, who hurry off to open the bar. Visit Cape Lewin, where the Southern Ocean meets the Indian Ocean. If you're good at geography, you'll know that's the bottom left-hand corner of Australia. Interestingly, this old lighthouse was once powered by electricity generated on site by a water wheel fed from a wooden aqueduct. It's very windy today, so I'm getting soaked filming this. Here on the edge of the Southern Ocean is a very exposed spot. Having turned the corner, we're now heading north back towards Perth, and it takes us through the eucalyptus forest. Now we've seen many strange signs on our trip, but the last one has completely baffled me. Could they be pixies? This deserted, rugged coastline is very beautiful. In the more sheltered bays, it's the perfect place for a man and his dog to go surfing. This is our last stop at Bustleton Pier. It's the second longest pier in the world. It's 1,841 metres long, slightly shorter than Southend Pier in Essex, but it's the biggest wooden structure in the southern hemisphere. It was built in 1839 to load timber and wool onto ships, but now only tourists ride the little train to the end. It's been a wonderful trip around Western Australia, but it's now time to say goodbye to this seagull and head off back to Perth on our flight home.